Craniosynostosis is defined as a condition in which one or more of the fibrous sutures in a young infant's skull prematurely fuses by turning into bone, thereby changing the growth pattern of the skull. It is a condition that is relatively esoteric and is a condition that I was born with. I am, to this day, unaware of the possible consequences being born with a head deformity may have had on me during my upbringing, or any consequences it may have in the future. I grew up with developmental delays and other unchecked symptoms pertaining to my psyche. There is a certain gratitude and horror I feel towards this, and this hodgepodge of emotions directly influences my art in many ways. Animation is a spiritual transcension of drawing, creating the illusion of consciousness, or actual consciousness depending on who you ask, through a multitude of different mediums. It is something that I fell in love with at a young age. I began animating in 4th grade. Of course, my work was crude and incomprehensible then, but I still look back on this period of curiosity and discovery with fondness. It was a simpler time, a time before I knew how to do social commentary or reflect on traumatic events. That's not to say that my relationship with the work I do has been inherently healthy. It is my belief that work can quickly become unhealthy and you can essentially dehumanize yourself without even realizing it. Or in my case, you can use work to escape your reality. I remember a time in 5th grade when I was asked by my teacher what my favorite hobby was. I innocently said something along the lines of,
I like animating because it's fun and it gives me an escape from the real world.
but when you create so many worlds of fantasy that feel as vivid and as real as the one you physically reside in, determining which reality is real becomes a hefty task. It was never an active task of escaping real life in a way I thought was unhealthy. I never felt like I was maladaptive daydreaming. But I look back on this period and wonder what exactly was happening to me.
Okay, what does that have to do with your weird cartoon movie about a man being euthanized because of his incurable addiction to nostalgia? Or your cartoon show about your old persona hosting a comedy show with a sentient sock puppet in your brain? Or your overstimulating surrealist horror comedy satire on the American education system? Or your sad movie about an abusive alien moon deity?
Stop. Okay, stop with the questions. Oh my god. Okay. Oh my. I get it, okay? I'll answer what my head deformity, my vague trauma, and my escapist tendencies have to do with my weird cartoons. Oh my god, man. Okay. The very idea of creating and consuming media is escapist in nature. But it can be escapist in a transformative way, altering your perception of your waking reality. In a Cliff Notes kind of way, that's essentially what my work means. The nature of your environment and the things you consume and create can and will alter your reality. This is a vague, overarching theme that defines the nature of my work thus far. There is a lot of nuance and ideas to the things I've made that can't really be defined in a single sentence, but this idea is present in basically everything I've made so far. Hey, did you know that emotional trauma causes physical brain damage? I didn't until I found out about it, which was kind of horrifying to find out about for me. As previously mentioned, I was born with a head deformity. That specific head deformity can cause developmental delays. And I do have developmental delays. Knowing that much and then incurring even more brain damage, there's a certain horror to that. A very specific horror I try to channel into my work as an overarching energy. The feeling of being completely lost and not comprehending what's underneath one's own skin. This is a feeling especially prominent in my latest and greatest film, Mr. Moon, The Slow Death of Seminor, which is Mr. Moon 1 and 2 combined, which were made during the worst years of my life so far, and I'm still kind of in awe that I was able to make something like this while being at the point in my life that I am in now. So far, I've made Nostalgia Man 2022, which was a 3-parter miniseries I later combined into one big ol' 7-minute Frankenstein film. I made HP's Comedic Comedy Show 2022, my 10-episode miniseries, which ended up being 32 minutes in total, The School System 2023, which was a 10-minute short film I made in a couple of months, and of course, Mr. Moon Village of Seminole 2023, and Mr. Moon Spiraling Skulk 2025. And those are just my big projects. I'm constantly making shorts, comics, general artwork, poems, music, and more. I love what I do, and I plan on doing much more in the future. As much as I've used art to escape in the past, I am now using it to understand myself more. I now have the ability to use my art as an outlet to express my abstract thoughts and analyze them instead of avoiding them. My relationship with creation has become a lot less codependent and more therapeutic over time. That's not to say I'm perfectly okay now. Not sure when or if I'll ever be 100% okay, but I am better now, and that is important to recognize. Speaking of the future, what does the future hold for me? I'm already in pre-production for my next big film. The thesis I presented here is present in this project, but there are plenty of nuances to the specific project. The next film acts as a refinement to the splotches of ideas I've had for the past couple of years, as well as a sort of send-off to my teenage years. I won't go too much into it, but it's called Tatted Fabric Skin and is about a dystopian society where every child comes out of the womb with a plethora of disfigurements and immediately taken into a surgery where their outward shell is replaced with the perfect piecing of fabric. I've had this idea for months now, and I couldn't stop chewing on it. I'm really excited about what I have so far in regards to this movie. One more thing before I stop yipping and yapping. This is actually an assignment for school. Well, I would have done something similar to this anyway because I need to get better at articulating what my work means to me. But that's besides the point. This is a technical theater assignment. Yes, I do other things than draw experimental cartoons. The overall idea of this assignment is to analyze how theater fosters belonging for me. And in an abstract sense, what I've said already does illustrate why. Because animation is thespian in nature. A thing that people don't realize is that animation is a form of acting. And I'm not just talking about the voice acting portion of it. I mean animation itself. Each character should move differently. You have to create a separate set of rules to make each character move in a way that suits their personality. It's called character acting for a reason. There's also the technical side of things. Theater, in both a technical and philosophical sense, is similar to film, in which animation is a form of film. Basically, what I'm saying is animation is theater. So now with that forbidden knowledge, you can now say you have a thespian third eye if you want to. I don't know. Yeah, that's essentially what my main ideas of my weird little cartoons are. I could talk for hours about what goes into making them, which I probably should do at some point, because I really like thinking about things and like talking about things. But for now, I'm leaving you all with this. Stay tuned for the future. Plenty more things to come and plenty more H. Porkle things to consume like a spoiled Victorian Augustus Gloop type of guy. Call me Gordon Ramsay, 'cause I've got a feast for the senses.
You're such a